This life is tearing me apart. This life is tearing me apart. Remember when I was with you?
Hello, this is Lanny Poffel, formerly the genius full of glory and renown. Let me tell you something,
brother.
you guys, brother, what you gonna do?
And I've tried to understand. You know I've done the best I can.
You've seen the
Okay, I'm
Departed,
gonna
right?
come out of the closet right now. I am bisexual. I'm 64 years old, and if I want it, I have to buy it.
This life is tearing me apart. This life is tearing me apart. I didn't know it was nothing from the start.
The major upset is wins over Braun. The Kid. What?
Randy, read that line. It says, ooh, you are watching the #1 station in Hawaii. Ooh, yeah. I what?
Bingo.
That sounds like money. But on the days that I don't have to do anything, I do nothing. Okay? I believe of 10 hours of sleep, followed by 14 hours of relaxation every single
Sign
day.
me up.
This life is tearing me apart. This life is tearing me apart. Should've known we'd never get that far. After all we've been through.
I'm happy just being me. I call myself Leaping Lanny. I validate what I say to every single wrestling fan who's watching USA. Yes, I believe in miracles as God has blessed this great land. I believe the referee will soon be raising my hand. And then after we go to commercial
was
black,
awesome.
Well, hold
Vince-
on. I got to applaud that, man. Holy cow.
well, who's next? That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
And that's why treat everybody like it's their last day.
Yeah.
And be kind, and if you have some nice thing to say it now. You won't have a chance tomorrow.
Well, I love you, brother. Thank you for
I love
coming
you
on.
guys.
Thank you for coming
I
on.
love you guys, and
Thank you.
we're gonna be friends. And I love your show, and
Thank you.
every wrestling fan should listen.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh. We're fortunate enough to have the star of Bad Girls Club, Jada Cacchilli, in studio. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So before we even started,
Okay.
we were talking about you getting put in the Master Lock Challenge.
Yeah.
How's the neck? How, people are worried about you. Are you okay?
People, oh, those are the same people who donated. They're so worried about my neck.
So $1,300
They
to
donated.
St. Jude's Children's
true.
Hospital
Nice.
for Pharaoh to break out of the Master Lock.
true,
But
yeah.
I
Jada,
love
he
it.
failed, unfortunately, and he didn't break out.
like you thought I
So
would.
do I still donate it to the children, or keep it for myself now?
Oh, give it to the kids.
All right.
He
Even
failed
though he,
for a cause.
even though he failed the show and
he
failed all
for
the
a
fans.
cause. It's for the kids. So it's a win. Either way.
I got you.
If the kids are getting help.
And then we discussed.
I failed the show and failed all the
It's
fans.
a joke. You did okay.
You sure?
But you didn't break out.
You
But
should make him get a mullet for failing.
so Jada's trying to tell Pharaoh to get a
She's
mullet.
helping-
So maybe that's the next thing.
I
Peop-
think that should be a punishment, getting a mullet.
Is the mullet now in?
I think you could bring it back, like, with the right, like, swag, maybe?
Okay. All right.
Would you date someone with a mullet?
Say yes.
I mean, probably not.
All right, good,
But I would be
thank you.
friends
She said
with them.
probably, not definitively. Go
Unless
ahead.
it was, like, really, like, you had to have, like, really awesome swag with that mullet.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Cool
There you go.
sunglasses, you know.
There you go.
So, like, what's ultimate
you.
swag in a man nowadays?
Oh man, I don't know. I've been out of the dating game for like 5 years.
So you've got a significant
I do.
other?
I do.
There you go.
And so what is so special about this significant other that he has finally locked someone like you in?
I mean, we've just grown. It's been 5 years. So, I mean, we've grown so much in our relationship, and he's super patient. We have a 15-month-old, and he's kind and just an all-around great guy. I mean, he wasn't in the beginning, but he's grown a lot.
Is he like got that Jersey Shore look? Like, what's he look like?
He's
Situation.
tatted up, definitely. I don't think he has a part of his body untatted besides his face.
Okay.
He's small like me. He's a little guy in most regards. I mean, he's like 5'7". He's skinny. Totally Italian. We did like his ancestry, and he came back 98% Italian, which I was like shocked. I didn't realize anybody could be that.
Sicilian and Napolitana to give him the origin.
I don't. It probably did. We have to like go back and like look at the map. I just looked at like the percentage.
All right, when you go back,
I'll
let's
let
keep
you know.
contact. Tell me what area, and then we'll discuss
I
whether
think
you stay with
Sicilian,
him.
but I don't want to be wrong.
He better be.
But with such a
Napolitano.
mix-
We don't want him in. We don't want him in the southern part of Italy. Right?
He's got to be Napolitano.
He got to be Napolitano.
Oh, okay, shit.
So
Yeah.
you mentioned like tatted faces. Is like that an in thing too? Like with,
I think it's the younger culture.
and women actually like guys with tatted faces.
I think it's like the younger culture. Like me, no. I mean, I don't think that that's a thing. I think you totally fucked up.
I wonder if Tyson started that. Wasn't Tyson like the first
I
high
don't know,
profile
dude.
guy
Like
to
I
do
just
something
don't
like
get
that?
it.
Right. Or like the guys that would get the teardrop, maybe. Like that was
Yeah.
that was very weird too.
Yeah.
And like you see them today, like working as like a janitor, like with a teardrop. You're
Right.
just like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah, you gotta
bro.
think ahead when
You're
you
probably
do
the man
stuff.
on your block, and now you're over here fucking mopping floors.
There you go. There you go. You should think about that stuff before you make things
Wow,
permanent.
dude, you
right?
thought you were tough, but now you're mopping my floors.
Yeah.
You missed the spot.
But that was the thing also back, like, guys that are like, I don't know, 47, 49, now almost 50. That was like a part of their
Yeah.
being the cool guy.
Like so that's like that's one of my rules too. Like I try to explain to the younger women, right? Because I'm old as dirt. So I tell them all the time, like, you know, think about the tats you're getting because, you know, you
Yeah.
start tatting up your arm.
Yeah.
You know, it might look okay because you're 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But once you
you're
hit
old and
40,
saggy,
it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you know, because, you know, we're the guys that evaluate. Like, we'll be like,
yeah, like,
that's embarrassing.
look like you got some miles on you. I feel like when
Yeah.
you're completely like overdone.
It's all
in
faded,
tattoos.
and then your arms aren't hard anymore. They got that
I think
women's
guys can pull
flop.
it off though, getting older, more so than women who are tatted up,
Yeah?
which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like a double standard, but I feel like guys can definitely pull it off more than a woman who's tatted up in her 50s.
I agree.
Okay.
See, like back in the day, like I've got some tats, but they're strategically placed on
Mm-hmm.
my body. Like, hey, I might have to go on a job interview and like
Right.
can't come
Right.
walking in with a teardrop under my eye.
Tattoo
Like
up
you're
to your
kind of
neck.
not going to
Yeah.
get that job.
Unless you're going for the janitor position.
Yeah. Then you're in.
I mean, could you imagine seriously like negotiating with like a teardrop? Like who's going to
Yeah.
deal with you?
I mean, there's so many
Take me
thoughts
serious.
that go through your brain. Like, did you kill somebody? Or, like,
Yeah.
you're just trying to play it off that you killed somebody?
Right.
Like, I'm
Right.
always going to think, like, in the back of my mind, you might have killed somebody. Like,
Right. Interesting.
As our channel's being shut down because we're hurting the people's
We're
teardrop.
profiling
sorry.
profiling
I mean, it
the
happens. Everybody
tattooed.
makes shitty decisions.
Well,
but
speaking of shitty, Eric Sims, who's the agent of Chris Masters in here, he brought some toilet paper in here.
And ran
because
off with
Unfortunately,
it.
it happened.
And ran off.
Did you find that he took the toilet paper back home with
You
him?
saw him
Wait.
run out the door with it, right?
yeah, so wait. So why did he bring the toilet paper in here? In case you cried?
Just to tease us. I've got toilet paper.
Well, you know,
don't.
you
I
kind
paid
of hope that
$1.
there would be toilet paper in the place that you're actually filming out of in case
Yeah.
a guest has to use the
Yeah,
bathroom. God
for
forbid
sure.
something does happen. Or maybe your producer goes to breakfast when one of the co-hosts and it's not the best
Yeah.
breakfast place and they're like,
Something
yo, my
happened.
stomach hurts right now.
Something went wrong with that breakfast.
Right? But then you reach in and there's no toilet paper. But lucky enough, the agent that comes in, you kind of know the guy, right? And you're like, hey, you got some toilet paper? And you go, oh, yeah. He gives it to you and you're like, okay, we're safe for everybody.
Right.
I sit down, you come in, we introduce ourselves, and you say, what's the deal with the
Dude
fat guy running out with the toilet
with
paper?
the toilet paper. Yeah. That's
Maybe he
messed
didn't
up.
have any at home. He's like, fuck stopping at the store. It's cold.
Hey, please
I got
don't
toilet paper now.
please don't squeeze my
Nobody
Charmin.
wants to stop in the cold and run in the store.
Oh, my
It's just,
God.
I might have stole your toilet paper too. I'm not gonna lie.
But did you hoard, like, during COVID, were you hoarding?
No.
You were hoarding?
I honestly know. I didn't do any of that.
Why didn't everybody just go to the next aisle and grab the baby wipes?
Good point. I'm big
Seriously.
on baby wipes. So was my man, like big on baby wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Just go to the
Or
next
just like
aisle.
old school it and get your ass in the shower. I don't know. Like, is it really? They were really fighting over toilet paper.
You know
and,
what? You're
like,
right, though. It is old school mentality. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you use a baby wipe? But you know what? We're old and we're set in our ways, and all we know is toilet paper.
People got so crazy.
They did.
They got so crazy over
did.
everything, like toilet paper.
You nervous about bringing a child into this
I
crazy
am.
world?
I'm so nervous. I
You
want to
should
get. I hate to say it. I kind of want to get out of America.
Oh, okay.
I want to go like Costa Rica vibes. I want something very.
Why Costa Rica?
I love that country. It's
Okay.
very just all around peaceful, hippie. Make your own garden and go surfing and just toke a little weed. I don't know if you
There
can
you
say
go.
that on here.
Nice.
Here, I just feel like everything is falling apart here. And we're just being lied to about everything. And, like, even if you go vegan, you have to worry about the soil and the pesticides. Like, is there any way to be healthy? Everything you
Right.
eat is fucked.
Right.
You're right.
Your water is fucked.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
like, I don't know. I just want to escape this prison.
So I'm assuming you garden then, right?
I would love to garden. I live in Queens.
Can't garden much in
garden in
Queens.
Queens.
What are you
I
going to do?
live
Plant
in
it between the
Queens,
cement?
Unless you hire that janitor with the teardrop. Maybe
Yeah,
he'll
no,
garden.
that,
Yeah, he
we're
could
not,
do
we're not
something.
hiring the janitor to be a gardener. Come on, guys. He's good at one skill set.
What, the tat?
Wait a second.
two.
His weapon of choice is a broom and a mop.
Yeah.
One
no,
skill
no. We're not giving him a shovel.
I didn't realize the tattoo pins your career capabilities. Kind of,
Keeps them
you know,
kinda low.
that's rough. That
Kinda
is
low.
rough. It's rough. You know.
I don't have faith that he got
And by the
on
way,
it.
my real job, I'm a custodian.
I'm
Are
a
you hiding
gardener.
a teardrop behind those
No
sunglasses?
teardrop, though.
Yeah. Well, gardeners have teardrops in the right eye and janitors on the left. So just in case you want to hire a particular one. But
God.
That's,
You got to
that's-
know who you're hiring.
Yeah, really.
All right, so we're going to hit some world news before we get to our guests
World
and discuss
news.
a few things. Well, all right, we won't call
Let's
it
do it.
world news, but
Okay.
and hopefully Jada could weigh in
Is
at
it
any
fake
point. I
news?
need
It's
you
real
to
news?
jump
What's
right
going
in.
on here?
All right.
What?
6th Memphis officer fired after the Tyree Nichols death. An additional Memphis police officer has been fired after the death of Tyree Nichols, a 29-year-old man who died after he was beaten by officers last month, police said Friday. So now they got another guy in, Pharaoh.
When?
So, we are pro-police, but
Of course.
it seems in a lot of cases
What are they doing?
they keep stepping on their,
Well,
you know what.
I don't understand how many times this has to happen before police officers and again, we do back the police and we do support them, but come on, man, you got to know that you cannot do this kind of shit by now. Don't you? I mean, this is collective stupidity because this was a bunch of them, right?
So-
what is going on?
I just want to make something here. We got this great reality star on. She's
Yeah.
coming on a wrestling show, but she's
Yes.
realizing just now this isn't really wrestling. Now we're going to talk
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah.
And
We
life.
go
So
everywhere
What do you
here.
think?
I honestly, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was something going around. I don't know if it's true that there was a back history between an officer and the gentleman.
Okay.
With dating his baby mother and whatnot. Maybe there was
Oh.
a vendetta.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people found it surprising that there were 5 minority officers that killed a minority man.
Right.
But maybe there was some vengeance going on there. There's
Interesting.
definitely like I feel like there's a lot of abuse of power going on,
Right.
and nobody's really being held accountable. I love the police auditors that are going out and doing the footwork to make our rights known to individuals who may not know our First, Second, Third, Fourth Amendments clearly, to know we have certain rights that are being violated by police officers. So shout out to the auditors, but I feel like a lot of officers do need to be held accountable and even educated on what they took an oath to. You took an oath to the amendments, but a lot of them, if you ask them what the First, Second, Third, Fourth Amendment, they don't even know.
I don't know.
They don't know. So what are you what is this training, police training really? You took an oath to something that you don't even know.
What's the cure though for this? Look, law and order, I still believe is necessary. I don't know if we could all live our lives completely like, okay, we don't need any authority. I think that it might be a free for all.
I mean, when you need them, you call them, right?
Right.
And sometimes that could
What's
work
the
against
answer
you.
though to get it through to anybody in an authoritative figure? You can't do shit.
By the way,
like
Phil
this.
says that is the backstory, Jada, so you have it.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
there was something going on there, and they're the biggest gang in America. I mean, let's be honest. They are. They stick together. They beat up that guy. They murdered him because of that that backstory issue. But I feel like the more they're held accountable, it'll smarten them up. Not only that, but put some fear in them that you work for the public. You're here to protect the public. You
Right.
signed an oath to the Constitution.
Yeah.
So you need to uphold that.
Yeah.
So just accountability.
So I'll challenge you a little bit on this. So I hear what you're saying, but how about as a citizen, you don't put yourself in a situation
There's
to
that
find yourself in a situation where you can get murdered and beat up.
Give me
right?
an example.
You know,
You're living your
How
life.
about
What's-
just don't break the law?
Okay, so I get that, but there's a lot of times they're not breaking the law. You'll see a black man sitting in his car. He's parked. He's not driving. A cop will come up to the window and request his identification. For what? I'm not driving. I haven't committed a crime. There's but no suspicion of a crime. You have no right to ask me. It's not stop and frisk. So what in that situation? Now, if you put yourself in the position to obviously break the law, a cop is within the right realm without beating you,
Right.
you know, to do what they need to do. But a
Right.
lot of times, even when someone is resisting, they take it too far. There's ways to combat someone resisting arrest without, if you know they're, I mean, pat them down. You know they don't have a weapon. How in danger do you really feel from this individual when 5 or more cops with guns and tasers and batons are on them, and you need to beat
Yep.
this person?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I get that. Yep.
Well, what do you have to fear over one person that's maybe not wanting to give you their hands? Where there's sometimes it's mental instabilities with people. There's so many factors. They could be on drugs, they could have a mental illness, they could be autistic. That these cops
But do you
aren't
think
even
as a
factoring
police
in.
officer, you're out in the field, and you know, look, you have a newborn, right?
Yeah, he's 15 months.
You know, you have a newborn at home. You're out in the field. It's not an easy place out there.
No, but
do you
you
think
took
there's
that
some
job.
reaction going on?
I think there's tons of elements going on. Maybe from a cop's childhood fears, how they grew up. There's so many things that play a part in something they may have.
Never hear
you
that
really
in
don't
the
hear,
news,
but that's the news problem
You
in
know-
general. You don't hear much positive shit about anything.
Yeah, not on mainstream news, but I do notice on the local Facebook pages, Brevard County, whatever county police you might follow on Facebook, they love to toot their own horns. So they will post things that they've done for the community. But obviously, no, they're not going to put that because we're sick humans and we live off of negativity.
You nailed that one. That's true.
Well said.
Unfortunately, that's
In other
true.
news, Flashdance singer Irene Cara's cause of death is revealed. Talk about negative
Oh,
news, right? Hey,
what?
here we go.
What?
Irene Cara, best known for her work as acting in the 80s movie Fame. Do you remember the movie Fame from the 80s? You're too young for that, right?
Don't.
Yeah. Do you,
I
you
think
know
you'd
who
like it,
Irene
though.
Cara was?
I don't.
All right, so
but
she was
God
a
rest her
pretty
soul.
famous singer back in the day when...
She'd love Flashdance. I think she'd like
The
that
movie
movie.
Flashdance with
yeah.
isn't there? No, I'm thinking.
So,
of,
well, it's 40 years ago, so
yeah,
obviously
no.
way before
I
your
forget it.
time.
I'll look it up. But anyway, it looks like that Miss Cara died of high cholesterol and hypertension. So
Oh.
you really don't hear that much in women. Like you never
High
really
cholesterol
see
and
that as a cause of
hypertension.
death in women. It's always something
How
else.
does hypertension kill you?
Dude, hypertension, like your arteries and
did
they
it
kind of
lead
explode.
to like a heart attack
Yeah.
or what did it lead?
Okay.
Oh yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah. If you didn't know it, this is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh, to
Oh.
my right. Jimmy,
Hi.
along with his partner, Bart Krigg, make up the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, and Here Comes the Rain.
Yeah.
You can find Wisteria Hall's music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. Download the music on Spotify, Apple Music, or Reverb Nation. You're a singer, correct, or a rapper?
Oh no. I mean, I dabbled in music forever. It was like a big passion of mine. I always loved to write, and during my first season on BGC, I wrote and recorded a song that was played on the season intro. And I definitely dabbled, but not anymore. I started day trading, and then I started working in Amazon. I just started an Amazon store, and I have a product that I just patented and working on a trademark. So I just got into like more business side and finances.
What kind of quiche do you make from doing the intro song for a popular reality show?
They don't
like
give
that?
you anything.
What?
Nope. See, that's the thing about Beanham and Murray and Oxygen. Well, it was probably Beanham and Murray. It was on Oxygen Network. You literally sell yourself for nothing, and you're so naive. Starting out, like you don't really know that you could probably ask for more. But then again, everybody wanted to be on that show, so you didn't really have a fighting stance to ask for shit. So they owned the rights to the song. They owned everything. They own everything. They owned me. They pay you nothing.
No wonder you started concentrating on the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Yeah.
Screw them. Fuck you, Bean and Murray.
There
my
you
money.
go. Soundbite.
Oh, shit.
Well, if you didn't know, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh. Catch Monte and Pharaoh on the Monte and Pharaoh YouTube page, where over 2 million viewers are seen.
2 million.
The Monte and Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monte and Pharaoh TV page. Catch us on Channel 115 if you're in New York, where you'll see a reduced version of our special guest at
Abbreviated.
Tuesdays at 9 o'clock and
Not
Saturday
reduced.
at 11:30 a.m. on Channel 20 at 7 p.m. We want to thank one of our new sponsors, Manscaped, for joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. We'll be right back with our special guest, where we're going to have some wonderful questions for her. She's already started off the show fantastic. We'll be right back after this, Pharaoh.
See you in a second.
You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. Auto Excellence. Jimmy, I gotta take a dump. What? No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. Jared's at the board. Jada, quick evaluation. Jared's a young man.
This is Jared?
Rate him from 1 to 10. Is he a 1 to 10?
Rate him from 1 to 10.
And be honest. Look, the one thing about I've seen is you're an honest person. So just, if he's a 5, give it to him.
Honestly, he definitely has hair swag, but he needs to like shape it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cut.
I give him like a 7.
Spidey did good,
Seven's
man.
not bad.
Seven's
I'll
not
take a
bad.
7.
Seven's not bad.
I mean, he's got a lot of like the age going for him, a lot of hair,
Yeah.
He's definitely got that John Stamos.
and he knows
look.
what he's doing back here, so that's also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even though I had to move my mic myself, rude.
That's,
Wow.
you could have been an 8,
I mean, yeah, he could've
Spidey.
been an
but
8,
now you're a
but
7.
Wow.
Spidey, don't feel bad. She handed me a card when she came in that said 3. I didn't know what it meant, but now I do. So
if
you're
you
okay.
get the mullet,
I'll
it
take
could
it.
be a 4.
That's all right.
Hey,
At least you
I'm moving
got a
on
card,
up.
At least you got a card that said 3. My card said not worth grading.
Wow, you got an incomplete?
I got it incomplete.
Man, that's messed up.
So it's nothing
Rude.
like waking yourself up with a 15-month-old
Ugh.
and having to come to an interview
To
at
see
10
two
o'clock in the
50-year-olds?
morning.
Himself up? No. He wakes me up.
Yeah.
There you
yeah.
go.
Like he is the forever alarm clock.
There
There's
you
no
go.
sleeping in.
Now, we're going to try to build a big family here. We're going to stick to one. What are we doing?
I am done, I think. Honestly, like I got blessed. I did not think I could get pregnant. I really had given up when I got blessed with my son. And I'm okay with just him. He's a lot. Like kids are literally terrorists.
Nice.
Like they're the definition of terrorists, but like it's the best part of my life every single day. I want nothing more than to just be his mom.
Clearly beautiful. How hard was it recovering from birth?
Actually, it was nothing. I was good
Okay.
after a week. I had a C-section. I was good.
There you
Nice.
go. There you go.
So tell our family or our friends and our fans, you've had a pretty tough life growing up. Can you fill people in about yourself?
Yeah, I think as I get older, I reflect more. Like when I started writing, I think I want to write like a book about my life because you start remembering more too. And now that I'm a mom, like I don't know, like I could never imagine not feeding him or worrying about what's going on with him. And I remember just like so many instances growing up, like I don't remember anyone providing a meal. So it kind of makes me think like, who the fuck was feeding me? Like, and why weren't they there? Like, what was going on? Like, obviously there was like a good part of my life with my stepmom for a short time before things got fucked up again. And like, she made it amazing, but then things went south again.
So let's slow it down a little. You're born, right? You have other siblings or?
I do. I have an older brother that I lived majority of my childhood with. And I have a younger brother, and I have 2 younger brothers. One I don't really get to know. Yeah, so there's 4
So
of
yeah,
us.
you have a mom and dad, and you
Yep.
go live with your
That
dad.
happened.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I go live with my dad in Florida.
Did they divorce, or did your mom pass, or?
My mom just was kind of everywhere. She had a fucked up introduction to life herself, so she never was really prepared mentally to be grown. Like, she still is like the reversed role. I'm kind of like her mom, which was hard. Like, even today, I get so angry with her. Like, I want a mom. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I want someone I can call on instead of you always calling me for stuff. So she just never was really consistent or around much.
So you go live with dad.
Yeah, I live with my dad, and I have this amazing stepmom, Holly. Love you. She's amazing. She's battling cancer right now. Fuck cancer.
There you go. Agreed.
But at a certain point, when I was like around 11, growing into a little woman, things just went bad. And I had to leave again, and they put me with my mom. And that's when life was just like, I don't really remember anybody being there. My mom was always gone, and I just kind of had this apartment to myself, and I was like 13, and I grew up really fast from there. Like, I had this really cool life doing whatever with my stepmom. I was got to be a little girl, and then it just was over. Like 8th grade, 9th grade, it was just like, okay, you're on your own. You feed yourself and go to school if you want.
So you're just handling your own business.
Yeah, I mean, I fought a lot. I was not a happy person. I look back now, and it's probably because I was missing my life. I didn't realize why I was angry. So I was always fighting in, like, high school. And I got kicked out of all the high schools, and they sent me to, like, an all-girls program where I got my GED, and I just became an adult. I just, like, started working. Like, my first job, I think, was at Wendy's. And as soon as I realized I could make money, I, like, got a car. And then I drove to New York with my best friend, and I ended up moving here at, like, 20.
Wow. So you were able to, like, turn this thing around, this bad situation, and, you know, take hold and
Yeah, I just,
I would think that this would help you.
yeah.
Parenting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what not to do.
I could never imagine, like, even leaving this morning, he's sick and he's running a fever. It was tearing me apart.
Right.
To, like, leave him. So it's like, my mom suffered from addiction issues. So I think that there's a detachment from your motherly instincts when you're addicted to a substance. So I can kind of understand why maybe she, like, didn't think, is my daughter eating, or is how's school going, you know?
Right.
But I could never, like, I'm constantly, like, hovering over him. Like, what does he need now? Do you need a snack? You want some bananas? Like, I just could never.
So many times when, you know, you learn that habits of your parents, right? We all have. How were you, or were you able to avoid the addiction issues or going down that same road that your mom went down?
Yeah, I never was into drugs. You know, everybody, I think, well, not everybody, but I experimented probably in my teenage years, but nothing was my thing. My mom grew up in, like, the crack era. Like, crack was big.
Right.
You know? So that was her thing. And then, obviously, it's a different generation now, so there's other things. You know, the pharmaceuticals are big, so one addiction turns into another addiction, and some people just are addicts their whole life.
Yeah.
Some people can turn it into a healthy addiction. You know, like, my uncle, he was addicted. He became a vegan and, like, is not so crazy about, like, making his own raw foods. But a lot of people don't get out of that, and they just turn one bad addiction to another bad addiction, and it's just like a domino effect.
What made you get kicked out from school to school? You said you were getting kicked out of one school after another. You weren't doing drugs, obviously. So what was it? You were just like, screw this, I'm not into this?
No,
Or?
I actually really enjoyed school.
Okay.
I always was big into reading. My stepmom always took us to the library, and, like, I was very studious for a long time. But then when I moved to my mom's, there was just no direction and no discipline. And I went to, like, nearly an all-black school in Cocoa, Florida. And, like, I just was the outcast. You know, if you were white in that neighborhood of Cocoa, you were, like, a redneck that wore, like, those cowboy boots.
Okay.
And I didn't fit in with any side. Like, I wasn't the redneck crew people, and I didn't fit in with the black kids. So, like, I was fighting everyone all the time.
Floating on an island by yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was lonely for a long time there in that
Wow.
part of my life.
Well, let's get to the reason why we have you here today. How did you get into the Bad Girls Club? How did this all begin?
So I literally never watched the show. Me and my old friend, someone I used to be friends with, we bartended and we got invited to a Playboy party. So we went out there and I remember she was like sitting on Pauly Shore's lap at the end of the night. And if you've ever been to a Playboy party, like once the night is over, you got to get on that bus and get back, you know, out of there because that's the only way to leave. You can't like call a cab to the Playboy mansion. It's not happening. And we were about to miss the bus and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing sitting on Colbert Report's lap? Like, come on, let's go. Not knowing it was Pauly Shore.
Right.
And some guy like seen me fussing at her and gave me a scouting card for Bad Girls Club. And I like put it in my bra and the next morning I woke up in the hotel room and I had this card to submit to the Bad Girls Club. So I did. And that was actually for season 11 and I didn't make it. So they had castings. I thought my friend would actually be better.
Well, what did you have to do? Like, so you go, they asked you to come down, what, take a picture?
I submitted a photo. They wanted a video of like my life, but I was bartending and I didn't get out till like 5, 6 in the morning. I didn't really have a lot of time. I would sleep all day and go back to bartend. So I just submitted a photo and they let me come to season 11 auditions. They ended up having an open audition in Manhattan I took my friend to, and I was recognized by one of the casting directors, and he said to try out again. So I did, and that's, you know, they brought me to LA for finals, and they brought me on probably because they knew, like, I was gonna definitely be one person in the house that people were gonna fuck with, and they did. Season 12, like, everybody in the house was against me.
Now, why is that? What is it about your personality? You talked about high
I've grown
school.
a lot.
You know,
I've grown a lot. I was definitely this little white girl who grew up in I was a product of my environment. Like, the way that I spoke was very ghetto. I used the N-word, and people were like, whoa.
Right.
You know, I didn't realize that was wrong. I was very ignorant because people would talk to me that way. So, like, when you grow up in that environment, you only know what you know.
Right.
You know? So I didn't realize until I watched myself on TV that I was like, ew, I'm that girl. Like,
Yeah.
I'm that
Right.
girl that I don't even want to be. I don't like it. So I went back to college, and I, like, learned to talk better and become a better all-around human. And
So seeing yourself on this show, you reevaluated yourself?
Oh, hell yeah. I
Very
hated who I
interesting.
that
saw.
is interesting.
Wow.
I could understand why the girls were like, oh, God, she thinks she's, like, you know, she wants to be black or, like, whatever. I get it. But you don't see yourself as that person when you're that person until you see it from, like, a third person perspective. Like, you're watching yourself on TV and you're like, you are that girl. So I made so many changes to not be that girl anymore.
That's very bizarre. Most people don't get a chance to reevaluate themselves
know.
on a television show.
I know. I feel
That's
very
insane.
blessed because I could probably still be that little ignorant, blah, 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 running my mouth like a little chihuahua, just like, it was not good.
Well, speaking of that, I was. How do you bring that up? Right? There's this other girl, Lindsay Jade, right? That I guess you didn't get along with, and then she ends up passing away.
Lindsay was from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
She only stayed in the house one night. And, you know, I feel like the producers, they allowed that to happen to her. They didn't give her a chance because they knew she was on Xanax, and they allowed her to drink. Come on. That's a really bad combination.
So what are these
It's a
producers? So
horrendous
they want
combination.
you because you know
Horrendous.
when you watch these reality shows, you go, "Is this set up like? Did they tell you, okay, let's act like this?" Dude, in that show, was it like that, or is it what we saw was
for some
real?
people, it is.
Okay.
For me, they didn't have to come up to me and tell me how to act or what to do because it was already fire as soon as as soon as they started filming. People were already coming for me. I think that the very first seconds of interviewing, I used the N-word, and it, like, the producers played crickets. Everybody got quiet, and you hear crickets playing, and it's just like the whole room's looking at you. So they knew what they were doing when they casted me. But I think for, like, other girls, I heard their side, and producers were telling them things to do, probably because they were dry and had no personalities. They were
Right.
like, do this to pipe the show up. But I think it's different for everyone.
Now, did you know Lindsay had some sort of problem, or
Not till afterwards. I just thought she was a lunatic or like
Right.
overly drunk. I mean, she was only like 21.
How did you feel? Strange. I gotta ask though, how'd you feel when it happened? I mean, it's just-
Horrible. To know that she was suffering with addiction, and also your nerves are out of this world. You're on a show and there's cameras everywhere. Of course you're gonna drink. But to know she was drinking on Xanax, I mean, it's just fucked up. I wish things would have went differently. She kept accusing someone of stealing, I think, her makeup bag, and I felt targeted. So I immediately was like fighting with her, and then the limo scene got crazy, and I ended up
Right.
punching her. But wow, she needed a hug. She needed a friend. And I wasn't in the right position at that time in my life to understand that. But today, I would have,
Do you think her being on the show put her into overdrive?
of course. I mean, it's hard for anyone when you leave that show because I didn't realize that I was going to be so recognized. I went through deep depression and didn't want to leave my home. I didn't even want to go anywhere. People were targeting me. I got jumped in Houston by guys, like a group of gay
What?
boys. Yeah. Because of what I did on the show.
So that's
People
what I'm saying. So
hate
they allow you to drop the N word, right? I could imagine a social media outlet, like you like I could understand
Well,
why
now
you
you're
want to hide in your
paintbrushed.
house, right?
You probably were paintbrushed after that with the media, I would assume.
Oh, I was like, people either loved or hated you. There was people that either wanted you to
Right.
die or people who just related to you in some way because maybe they were that white girl who grew up in that neighborhood and they understood why you spoke that
Can
way.
I ask what the percentage was? Was it like 80% at the time, people just slamming you, and 20% were
I
giving you?
think it was probably 60-40.
Okay.
Or maybe even 50-50. I had
Okay.
a lot of people who related to me. And,
Okay.
you know, I was very transparent about my life. I wasn't a character. I didn't play a different person. I was transparent about my childhood and my mother's addiction issues. So a lot of people did relate to that. And then there was a great deal of people who thought I was disgusting because the way that I spoke, because they didn't understand it. Which
Do you
I
think people
understand.
forgive you now?
I mean, I think if they were to see me now and understand my growth and my story, they may. But a lot of people are very simple-minded, and it is what it is, and they don't really care to know you or give a fuck.
Now, are you concerned? You have this 15-month-year-old, right? And then soon he'll be 5, and then 10, and eventually he's going to know who his mom is. Are you in fear of him seeing this?
No. I'm more scared that he'll find my OnlyFans content at some point.
Right.
Like, I had to put that on a pause because I'm like, oh, shit, like, my son's going to be a teenager surfing the web one day. I don't want, like, him to come across this. But, no, I feel like he'll get to know his mom and understand, like, my growth. And, you know, life has different chapters.
Yeah.
And that was a really fucked up chapter.
Very smart.
Would you have done it all over again? Would you have done the show? Was it worth it to you in the end of the day?
I would. It did help me grow so much. Like I said, I would have probably never known how trashy I sounded or how I come off to people. Because like I said, you view yourself as one person in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You do, yeah.
But then you could come off completely different to everyone else, and I didn't know. So I'm thankful for that.
There you go.
So again, very attractive woman, very intelligent woman. You have OnlyFans. How did your husband handle? Like,
Oh,
is he?
he's
Like, I understand
great.
it's a moneymaker, but it's like I don't know. It's
My husband is so supportive of everything. Like I said, he's grown into this really kind. I'll go off on him. I'll be so frustrated about something, and he'll just stand there like la da da. Like the old him would have been like, "Bitch, shut the fuck up." Now he's so patient. He's so kind. I'm so proud of the man he's grown into, and I think like it's our son. Our son has changed the dynamic of our growth in this relationship.
How
I
could
love
it not? How could it not?
Yeah,
and there's no jealousy on his end at all.
no, I mean, I think he knows. Like, I'm never gonna stray. Like, that's my family. I could never, and I think that he knows that. I mean, I don't do anything. I don't go out with girlfriends and like party and get crazy. Like, my family is everything to me. That and business. So, I don't think he has to worry about or get jealousy.
Yeah, what would be the point anyway of taking the other route? There's no gain from that. I mean,
Right.
either you trust or you live in
Right.
paranoia. There's
And
no.
I feel like OnlyFans is like the Playboy of our generation. Like girls, I mean, even though it's very saturated and anybody can do it, but you can pick your local, like, whatever the hell, fantasy. And it doesn't have to be raunchy. You don't have to necessarily do sex. Like, you could make it tasteful.
Well, you do know that in some cases,
Of
in some
course.
accounts, there's like actual pornography on
Oh,
there, right?
of course.
Yeah.
And I feel like to each their own.
There
I
is?
mean,
Oh, yeah.
for sure. Like, do
Okay.
your thing. If you're confident enough to do that, I mean, everybody has sex. So I mean, like,
Well, not me,
and,
but
most people. Maybe not you.
I know everybody. I just don't fall into that category.
Or are having
God.
sex, and most people
Killing
watch
me.
porn. So if you can like go watch your favorite Instagram model get, I don't know, banged out like for $20 a month, do you?
Were you ever approached to do anything
Wait,
more?
hold on. Slow it down.
What? $20 a
Listen,
month?
she's younger than us.
Get some
and
exercise.
I like the lingo. But she said $20 a month and get banged out. So banged out means what?
Spank the
Men
monkey.
are spanking
Banged out, like,
the
you
monkey.
know.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to get past that. Like as a woman,
translation?
is there something like you feel like it feels good that men are out there doing that to themselves, to your
What, banging
pictures?
themselves out?
Yes. Like does that like you feel good?
I don't really think about it, honestly.
I wouldn't. If I were you.
It's gross. Like sometimes I'll have a guy like he'll buy a photo and then he'll want to send me like a video of him like banging himself out, and I'm like, okay, bro, you took it too far,
Dude.
Like this isn't.
Wait a
Put
minute.
that thing
Wait a minute.
away.
He writes you and says, "Hey, I got your picture.
And
I
I'm
took a
banging
video and
myself.
I sent it to you."
And I'm like, ew, no.
Oh my God.
No, you took
oh
it
my
too far.
God.
This isn't exchange content. This is you buy content and you do what
Wow.
you want in your own private time. Like,
Well, this
Right.
walks into my thought then, young, attractive, especially before, around the days of the show, impressionable. Did you ever
are you
get...
trying to say I'm not anymore?
Did you... Huh?
I think he is.
Are you right?
I think
What
he is. That's what I heard.
missed that.
That's what I
What did
got.
you
It was
say?
like,
Hey,
well,
Jared, that's what you
well,
heard,
he's
right?
back in your
Like,
day.
time's out. She's a mom now.
What are you
guy.
guys painting?
And by the way, the
I'm
views
getting
of Jimmy
painted now.
Pharaoh are
What
not
is
the
this?
views of myself or the producer.
It's not my
just
fault
so
you're
you know.
going bald, guy. All right? Don't take it out on me.
Oh, you set it
take
up
it
and
out.
smash it out of the park anyway.
This
Well, don't
guy.
worry. At least I'm not on $20 a month spanking a monkey. Get out of here.
You might have some more money to fix that bald spot.
There we go. You know what?
Spank the monkey.
You booked it. What the hell? Anyway,
Go
what
ahead,
I
ask the
was
question.
getting at. Well, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at
No,
anything.
you can't.
This is true.
What I was getting at was, were you ever approached for much racier things than $20 a month for this guy to spank his monkey?
I wasn't, no.
Wow, you're lucky then.
So
Yeah,
in,
I mean,
in the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, we all know about that, and we had Marissa Jade was in
Yeah.
the studio,
Mm-hmm.
and we were speaking about that again. Being that you're doing the show, where you would never, no one ever came up to you on a private or a down low and saw you and knew you're famous and said, "Hey, I'd like to hook up with you," that type of thing.
To pay? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. There's been, I think every woman has probably been approached. Most women have been approached by creepo guys who want to, like, pay to play. For sure. And I think that it's grown more prevalent.
So, is there anything wrong with a man trying to pay to play? Is it
I
like
think it's
offensive?
one of the oldest things in the book. I think
I think it is the oldest.
Yeah, like I think it goes back forever. Men were paying to play. So if you have the money and somebody wants to, you own yourself.
Yeah.
How can you tell me that I can't make you pay for it? Men pay for it anyways in one way or another.
Yeah, sure.
But
Yeah.
if you want to get
knows
physical
that.
and a girl doesn't mind taking the money, I don't understand how that's an issue. I don't even know how prostitution is illegal, to be honest.
So, going back to Harvey Weinstein, and I'm not saying you defend him, but do you think this guy really didn't do anything wrong, or
Wasn't it he preying on children?
no,
No.
on actresses?
On
But
act-
basically,
to give
but,
opportunities to
but,
up and coming
but if you
actresses.
didn't allow him to have his way, he was kind of shutting your career down.
Yeah,
on
he
you.
would-
He had
he would
that
fuck
kind
you
of
over
power.
if you
Yeah,
didn't,
he was
you know.
using his power, and I know I don't agree with that. I think
Yeah.
that that's horrible, because a lot of people in that position to want to be in that role, they're desperate. So you're
Well, he had a
definitely-
serious bald spot. Harvey.
Did he?
I
That's
think
probably
so.
the problem.
And he never paid
You
to
gotta watch
get,
these
to get-
guys with bald spots. to be
Ugh,
honest.
man, you got to watch out for sure.
I thought he was the
unbelievable.
one that had the island, right?
No, that was an Epstein.
Epstein. Okay.
Epstein.
Boy, a
Okay.
lot of
I'm
So,
Which creep?
but in your
Stick a-
opinion, though,
stick
if
a
a
creep,
woman
any creep.
allows someone to pay for play, or
a woman,
even, or
not a child.
right, a woman,
Right.
and say an actress says, "Hey, okay, I'll sleep with you because I want this role," they've basically.
I think it's a mutual exchange.
Yeah.
It's like any transaction. You want this, and I have this, and
Were you ever offered a transaction and you're like, I might have to take this bad boy?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm human. Everybody is in vulnerable positions at some point in their life. I feel like that you want to think about doing something like that. But also, what stopped me is because I never wanted to die.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're getting caught up in. I've heard a lot of horror stories with friends of mine. Even dating, like I see things on like these Tinder dating things where like girls are getting murdered. So, yeah, no, it wasn't my thing. I wanted to live, and I didn't want to get hurt or end up in someone's basement as a prisoner.
Can I ask what these guys look like, though? Did they look like Jared, or did they look like me? You know, like,
Did they look like you?
There's no look for a guy who
They look
wants
like a
to
janitor.
play. I think any guy, if they're in the right position, would be like that.
Unbelievable. What was the Playboy Mansion like?
Oh God, it was so awesome. I mean, it's
I'm kind
literally
of jealous. I wish I was at the Playboy
That is
Mansion.
awesome.
It's like a castle, and there's just people running around naked everywhere.
I
and-
gotta go. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's definitely a dreamland.
How did you get that again? How do you wind up at the Playboy Mansion?
I got invited.
By the way,
we
come
were-
to the Playboy Mansion.
We were bartenders, me and this girl, and she wanted to audition for Playboy, so we went. And the guy, Sam Rima, invited us to the Playboy Mansion for the Halloween party.
Man.
So we flew out, and it was just
Man.
a great time.
And you stayed the whole night, or
Yeah,
how?
we stayed the whole night. Like I said, we almost missed the bus to leave
No, was
the property.
Hefner alive back when you were there?
Yeah. I mean, this was like...
Did you meet him?
No, I don't remember meeting him. The place is so packed. And
He's
like
the Vince McMahon of naked chicks.
one part of it is like set up like a club, like, and then you just explore the property. They have all these different, like a
Yeah.
zoo. It's crazy.
A zoo?
Yeah, there was like monkeys. It's
Were
a
they
very
spanking?
cool property.
The monkey spanking in the zoo.
Yeah.
It's a Playboy zoo. A zoo?
It's probably one of the best parties I ever went to. Yeah, he had like a little mini zoo.
How big is the property?
It's massive. I mean, and for a Halloween party, he went all out, like
Wow.
like little haunted areas, like it
Any
was cool.
any super famous A-list celebrities there when you
The
visited?
night you were there.
It was a blur to me, like honestly, like
She had fun.
it's tons of people, and you're like exploring the property, and a lot of times I kept losing my friend, so I was trying to find her. Like I said, at the end of the night, I finally found her on Pauly Shore's lap, and he's so creepy. He's so creepy.
Now, what is creepy about Pauly Shore?
Quite a bit.
Sitting on his lap, and all I remember, he's like, "Tell Daddy you want to come
Oh.
home with him,"
Oh,
and
come
I'm just
on.
like, "Bro, get off Colbert Report's lap. He's really weird." And I apologize, Colbert Report. It wasn't you, but you guys, they kind of look alike.
Yeah, they do. That's
know?
really good.
And then I found out later it was the "Hey Bud"
Come
guy,
home.
and I'm just like, "Oh shit." He's
You're like,
so
oh, that's that
creepy.
old. He's that guy from those old movies.
Yeah, I forget the movie. Something. Man.
I think like Step
Geronimo
Brother.
Man. Or,
The Encino Man.
Encino Man, right?
Encino Man, yeah.
But he talks like a little kid, and he calls himself Daddy, and it's
Come
just,
home with Daddy?
"Oh, Daddy, you want to come home?" It's so creepy.
Dude.
And what is your girlfriend
That's-
like? Is she like playing with it, or is she like?
She was so drunk. She was just like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Bitch, we gotta go. The bus is leaving."
We gotta go.
Colbert Report, we're not going with you.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Let's go.
How do you avoid? So you're doing the show for 2 seasons. You have all these girls with you. Not you in particular, but how does the cast members avoid? Because you're kind of in this isolated area. You're on your own little planet, right?
Yeah,
How do you
sure.
avoid not getting into some sort of romantic relationship with either directors, producers, maybe other cast members? I don't know. Right?
Yeah. I was in such a vulnerable, lonely position during my first season that there was this one producer, and I cannot remember his name, that was just always there for me. Always there. And I look back now and I'm like, you fucking played me, because I wanted to leave so many times because I was just so tired of the drama. I was so tired of fighting. I was exhausted. But every single time he was there to pick me up and convince me to stay. And I thought back then it was because, like,
He cares.
he cared, right?
care.
He didn't fucking care, you motherfucker, if you're watching. He didn't care.
There it is.
He just didn't want to lose the ratings
Right.
that he knew I was giving because everybody wanted to fuck with me and I was down to fight everybody. So, fuck you, bro. But yeah, I
Nice.
feel like some
Nice.
people would have gotten definitely. It's easy because if you're in a vulnerable position and someone acts like they care, asshole.
When did you meet your husband? Is this after the show, if I can ask you?
Yeah.
How hard was
It's
it?
funny.
How hard was it to find a real relationship after this? I mean, you're a celebrity.
Horrible. Everybody wanted to know me or date me because they thought I was so much cooler than I am because of the show. Like, everybody assumes you're, like, rich and famous because you went on Bad Girls Club, but you're not. Like, you're still the same person you were before.
Right.
Financially wise and probably even more fucked up mentally because of the show. But I met him, I was being a crazy ex to a guy that I'd been dating, and one of my neighbors said, you know, he's on Plenty of Fish looking for girls, and I'm like, really? So I like opened, I started an account, but I like put myself private so no one could see that Jada was on Plenty of Fish,
Right.
and I was just looking for him, and I ended up finding my dirtball ex, but in the midst, I see this guy who's like completely tatted up and so handsome, and I messaged him.
Wow.
Yeah, I messaged him. It was so weird because I'd never been on a dating app, but I was like, wow.
Plenty of fish.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I don't know
dating
if
site,
it's
dude.
still
I'm
around.
gonna write that down. Hold on.
But he was so handsome, and I was like, I just am gonna.
Now,
reach out.
did he believe it was you though? Like, did he know who you are?
At
or
first,
did
he was like, "Girl, you're catfishing." That
Yeah,
girl has like
that's
almost
right.
300,000 followers on
Right.
Instagram, and I was like, "Well, go message me, and I'll write you back." And he did, and we talked for like a couple months, and I was still getting over my ex, so I wasn't like even prepared to hang out with him. But then when we did, it was just like it was really crazy in the beginning. To be honest, I'm surprised we lasted because it got a little toxic. I ended up moving back to Florida.
Well, why did it get toxic? What happened?
Oh man, there was just I don't know really. I think he was still like maybe on his ex when he was surfing around.
There was some
too.
carryover from both of you.
Yeah,
from
I think
previous?
it was, and it was just very, very toxic and ugly. And I just kept going back for more punishment. I feel like with him, until finally I was done and I moved to Florida. But I was still talking to him. Like I just couldn't get over him, and he would come and visit me, and I got pregnant. And you know, I moved back, and literally like my life has changed with him. Like it's not the same guy, it's not the same relationship. It's beautiful and it's pure, and I've never felt so comfortable in a relationship in my life. Like I know like he's good, he's solid. I don't have to worry about him doing anything. And that's a good feeling. I feel like every woman deserves that. Every person deserves that in a relationship.
And I got to think, you know, considering your background and the troubles you had, it must be very difficult to trust someone at that
yeah.
level, right? And
This is the best feeling in the world to know like he cares about us and this unit and this family over a new encounter, which every guy is gonna want something new. Like it's natural, I think, human animal instinct to want to play, but it doesn't trump his family, and it's not worth the risk, and I think that he knows that.
so you're saying it's human nature for men and women to
I
cheat?
feel like, yeah. I mean, more so men. I feel like men are more sexually driven and women are like more mentally driven when it comes to that. Men can like, I don't feel like they could just have a sexual encounter and it's like, okay, bye.
Have you ever met a man that you really weren't attracted to, and then you get to know him, and mentally he stimulated you so much that you got into a relationship
Oh
with
yeah,
him?
for sure. I am very much into smart individuals. Like I love someone who could teach me something or guide me and help me learn something new, because I'm always trying to strive and learn new things all the time to grow, like every day. So I'm definitely mentally attracted to men that can provide that or like some type of knowledge of things. And with my with my current man, he does that. Like he's great. We can sit and get into like really deep conversations. He's big in like conspiracy theories. He's constantly sending me videos about like, that's why I want to move out of here, how our food is completely fucked. It's just like the world right now that we live in, and we can just go back and forth.
She would have gotten a kick out of the 70s and 80s food we were eating. I thought that they were cleaning up the food. Apparently,
No, not
Apparently
It was
really.
not.
probably more pure back then, no?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if you consider McDonald's pure.
Count Chocula doesn't strike me as pure food.
Count Chocula, yeah. I don't know about that, or Fruit Loops.
Yeah,
Oh
give
yeah,
us some-
but like if you were eating like
we were raised in the age of sugar processed shit, pretty much.
like that, the
70s,
old
80s.
Like-
pyramid.
Like
Yeah.
a breakfast when I was growing up was, you know, a box of Captain Crunch.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
You know, my
Right.
mother, God rest her soul, would say to me, you know, eat as much pasta as you want. There's no sugar in pasta. And hence, that's why I'm fat like I am now. But I mean, that's just the way it works out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we were taught there was that old pyramid back in the day, and like they come up with a new one now, but you can't really trust any of that. And that's what I was saying earlier. Our food is fucked.
Again, you're too young for it, but back on Channel 7, they had that cartoon,
Yes.
right? I forget the name of
I
anybody
hunker
remembers
for
out
a
there.
hunk of cheese. That
Right.
guy.
It was like, eat your cheese,
Yeah,
eat your
eat-
bread, you
right.
know.
Eat healthy.
All
You know, in
the
some
bad
cases,
things.
shoot heroin, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right. Smoke a pack of cigarettes a day.
some-
It's all good.
go.
In
They're
some
smoking in
cases, shoot
hospitals,
heroin?
You know, in the baby ward, there's like old movies where they're smoking right in the
Yes.
hospitals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in the 50s, it was 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Camel cigarettes.
God.
There was.
See, this is why I don't trust anything.
Yeah,
I
you
really,
can't.
can't trust anything.
You can't.
And it's sad when you go shopping for food, especially having a little one. It's like pick the worst of the evils.
Just
you
go to
know?
the fruit and vegetable section.
Even that is fucked.
Is
soil's
it?
It's too expensive, dude.
What
to
did they-
buy
well, that's
fruit and
true. If you
vegetables
wanna
to
eat
get
healthy,
by.
you're broke.
Vegetable is a lie. It's like such a
Yeah.
lie. You think you're buying pesticide free. The soil is screwed.
Amen.
Everything you eat has
Wow.
got something in it.
Well, we were
that's
just talking with Chris Masters, the guest before you, and we were talking about Monsanto, how they've poisoned the soil so much that, you know, again, probably shutting down the channel after that comment, that you can't even
Again?
grow your own
You
own
can't.
food.
You can't even grow. That's what I was saying. Like, even if you want to start your own garden somewhere and you're like, you know what? Fuck the government. I won't buy their food.
Right.
I'll do my own thing. The soil's fucked.
What's your diet then? How do you get around all of this?
I just tried my best to eat, like, you know, the less of the evils. Like, I do mostly vegan, but then, like I'm saying, like, the lentils, the beans. I bought, like, cacao powder, and it's, like, a warning of lead in it. And I'm like, what? Why?
Can't wait to eat this.
Do you eat meat?
I don't eat meat. You know, I do cheat once in a while with seafood, like crab and shrimp. But even that, I'm kind of like, kind of turned off. Like, I'll make it for my husband. and
Well,
that's
you're
it.
smart. You're smart. I gotta get off meat. So,
Yeah, you do. It's
you've
hard.
had this fame. People know you. How do you avoid not wanting that back? You know, as time goes, I know you got a newborn and it's all
please.
new to you. But do you see yourself falling back like, oh man, I want to go back to that life?
Not compared to where you're at,
No,
right?
fuck no.
There you go.
No way. I am living the dream right now. Like, someone asked me yesterday on TikTok, what part of your life do you miss? And I'm like, nothing. Like, I'm living the good old days right now. I'm going to look back and be like, those were the good old days. And it's right now. And I realize that, and I take every single day, and I'm just like, what can I do to build a better life for my son? No. And you know what? It's crazy because it's 10 years the show has been off, and I still am recognized all the time, and I still have that same PTSD going out and doing certain things because I'll go to ShopRite, and, you know, the demographics of our show was mostly minorities and gay people and girls. So I'll go to, like, ShopRite, and the cashiers are like, holy shit, it's Jada. And I'm just like, fuck, man. I'm going to buy my groceries.
Just
yo.
wanna
Get
buy
the
my-
fuck out of here. I don't want to fucking chit-chat with you.
Just leave me the
Sorry,
fuck alone.
and I don't mean that rudely, but it's like
No.
10 years. Do you think I
Yeah.
still want to talk about the fight I had with Red or whoever
Right.
the fuck? No.
Right. Do you laugh at the before you were a celebrity? You know the mindset before you get the break that you got. Everybody wants to be this. I want to be on. Do you laugh at this now?
I never had that mindset.
Okay.
You
You know
what?
a lot of people do though.
I know, but when I got casted, I literally was like, I'm going on the dopest vacation I could ever have asked for.
Right.
That's one way
yeah.
to look
I
at it.
thought
yeah.
that I was going in a house with a bunch of bad girls, like party girls. We're gonna
Right.
have fun. We're gonna turn up. No, these were like bully girls club. This is like
Oh.
wasn't fun how
Right.
I thought it would be.
Yeah, that was a
Right.
rough show, man.
They're a
I
bunch of
put it on. I was like,
bullies.
this is rough.
This is like petty girls club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't like them. I wasn't a bully. I wasn't going to nitpick on how you spoke or how you dressed, the shoes you wore. It was
Phil
like high school.
DeCesare out there says meat is good.
Okay.
What do you have to say to Phil?
To each their own, Phil. If you want to eat meat, do you. My uncle ate meat and pasta his whole life, got diabetes. He almost lost his leg. They said he needed insulin. He turned vegan, and he doesn't need insulin. He didn't lose his leg. He's healthy. So if you're healthy eating meat, that's great.
Or
Shout out,
or
Phil.
Phil, keep eating meat and get diabetes, and
Yeah.
maybe it'll
Do
cut
you,
your feet
bro.
off.
Shout
It
out.
causes inflammation,
Yeah.
so I mean...
It causes
causes
bald
cancer.
spots. Go vegan.
I got to tell you, you're right though, because when I changed my diet. My blood work changed dramatically.
You are what you eat.
Yeah,
So if
you're
you want to
right.
be a cow full of hormones and whatever the fuck they're doing to that cow, then do you.
Wait a minute, I'm a potato chip?
Or French fry.
I'm cottonseed oil
All right,
with
we're
salt.
almost out of time. Jimmy is going to hit you with something called the Pharaoh's Final Question. You've been wonderful. Thank you for being so candid in
Thanks
this
for having
interview. And I'm glad we finally got to meet, and thank you again. Jimmy, Pharaoh's Final Question.
Where would you like to go from here as far as just life in general? Are you done with TV? I mean, what's the future hold?
I'm done with TV until they can offer the proper platform and pay.
Pay?
By the way,
getting
what
paid
was
would
the
be
pay?
nice.
What was the pay for that?
So during Bad Girls Club Season 1, the girls are paid $500 a week for about 2 months, 2.5 months. My second season, they upped the pay to...
Wait a minute.
They're making
$500 a
they're making-
week,
that's-
but that's including lodging, food,
Yeah,
everything?
they pay for all of that. You get $500,
Still,
they pay for
$500
your
doesn't
food and all
seem
that.
That's
a lot.
horrible.
The
That is
second
horrible.
season, they casted all-star girls, so they upped the pay to $1,500 a week for a couple months. But that's it. After it's over, you don't get like residuals when it's played on Peacock or right now it's being played and streamed. You don't
Right.
get
Someone's
nothing.
making a killing
Now,
on
how
that,
do
but
you,
it's not
how do you
Yeah.
lose your
Yeah.
How do you lose
Yeah.
your residuals? Like, how does that happen?
You fucking are dumb as shit. And you sign that contract because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And it doesn't matter anyways because if you don't want to sign the contract, there's
They'll-
going to be another
they'll-
girl waiting in line that's going to sign it.
They'll find
Just-
somebody
just
else.
like Vince.
Doesn't matter.
Just like
Like
Vince.
Vince, yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's just sad what that production company did. They exploited a lot of girls.
You stay in touch with any of them girls from
I
the
do.
Okay.
I'm very cool with a lot of the girls.
That's cool. So you made some friends.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure. Acquaintances.
So where could the fans find you? Can you give some of your social media channels?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Jada_Cacchilli. TikTok is the same. And Twitter is Jada 5 stars.
How about OnlyFans?
Oh, OnlyFans is Jada Cat.
Hold on. No, that being said, thank you for joining us.
Wait till we get off
Thanks
the
for
air.
having me, guys.
Hold on, I got to sign on now.
Wait a minute, I'm not waiting.
Don't you do it.
You've been watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestler project. Thanks again for
Thanks for
joining
having
us.
me.
What a
Thank
wonderful
you so much.
interview.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and hopefully this weather turns up. It'll be good. Thank
Yeah.
you all for joining us, and we'll see you next Thursday where we return. I don't think we have any guests on Thursday. Do
Wow,
we?
we're actually just going to have you and me, huh?
Just you and me.
All right, that should
And
be
with that, this has been Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. I'm Mike Monte.
This is the Pharaoh, and until next Thursday, later.